Hey everyone, this is your OG, Original Gamer, and this is another Godforge video. Today we will be providing reaction to Simon's video released earlier today. We'll get to see more than a half a dozen never before seen champions. This is going to be overflowing with new leaks and peaks, so stay tuned all the way to the end if you want to see Heimdall throw his ultimate down. Let's optimize.
Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. Bit of a different one today. We're going to be going over some of the new concepts, some of the new 3D characters we've got in the game, some of their animations, VFX, some environments, all that stuff. Basically the building of the game.
That's right. We're going to talk about the building of the game. So we're going to give you a quick recap. Simon talks about getting cooking for the launch, all the work that's going into it. He mentions looking for that email that you should have received saying you were in the alpha. That went out last week. So a lot of help just getting people to find that in their spam and then make it a trusted source so that all future emails from Fateless you won't have any issues with. He says in the next couple of weeks, 1 to 2 to 3 weeks, you'll learn which waves you're in, either wave 1 or wave 2 in July. Then he talks about the individuals, the art leaders for Fateless, Damon and Dan. They present these sort of art packages every couple weeks, so that's what he's going to show today is some of this art package. He talks about Godforge's YouTube is up, and it will be the official channel for releases of patches and information. Right now, the Fateless channel, which what we're watching right now, is more behind the scenes dev sort of conversations and building the game, but the Godforge YouTube will be the official games channel once everything is up and running. Okay, so we covered all of that, and now let's get into the leaks. So we see Le Bleu. I'm not sure if I'm going to say that right, but this is from the Tian faction, Chinese mythology. New rare concept. So it starts as a concept, then it gets 2D, then it gets 3D, then it gets, VX and all the other, fine tuning and things that go into it. So this is getting to see the character very early in the process of the build. But that means that we did not know this character before. So we have a new rare in the Tian faction that we know about. A little about his, lore from mythology. So he's known for his strength as a warrior during the Han Dynasty, but he's also very well known for sort of switching alliances and sort of betraying or jumping sides. He's associated with archery, horseback riding, and armed combat. So that is our first new leaked champion is Le Bleu. Really cool weapon. This hair possibly will be used in attacks, Simon mentioned, so that's kind of neat. Could have more dynamic than just hitting just with his weapon. A rare, but looks to be very strong, probably Slayer or Brawler class type. I would say maybe a Slayer if I had to guess, but... Then we get to the next, he shows here with his Lao Shen. She is a goddess of the moon, fertility, and magic in Chinese mythology, so she'll be in the Tian faction, we're guessing. She controls the cycles of nature and human reproduction. Her long hair symbolizes the changing phases of the moon. Her weapon, as we'll see here, is a fan, which is wicked cool. It's like one of my favorite weapons from throwback from Mortal Kombat. But her weapon here you see is a fan. So that is Lao Shen. This is an interesting character right here. We don't see a name with this horse-headed warrior. A little bit of a fiery fellow, maybe somebody who has kind of a burn or a molten or something like that. Who do you think this character is? Simon mentions that it's been kicking around for a while. It doesn't have any name. It doesn't have a faction. It's kind of stayed at this early stage level. Who do you think this character might be? Drop your comments below. Maybe, the community will figure out who this is. But a very interesting character. We are not sure who this is. So then Simon continues to go on after talking about this guy and his weapons. And now he talks about a character called Chernabog. So we saw Belobog from Virage already, and he rules over the daytime, but his counterpoint is Chernabog, the sort of evil angel, and he rules over the night. So Belobog is an epic in Virage, so we can expect that Chernabog here is probably also going to be an epic in Virage as well. Really cool looking character for an epic, of course. So we are getting to see this new character, Chernabog. And then after he shows Chernabog, he gets to another one that he says he thinks is going to be a fan favorite, and this is Susanoo, a legendary from the Azumu faction. He has some lightning shoulder there, which is kind of cool. I guess that's better than having a cold shoulder. Very ornate armor, cool weapon. This is Susanoo, I guess if I'm saying that correctly, or Susanoo. So we get to see this one. Now, we knew this character existed and was going to be in the game, but we're getting to obviously see much how the champion is coming along, and get additional information like that on a weapon. The weapon's pretty neat, pretty cool. Sort of like it has an infused chi or blue energy through it, or aura. And then we get another new one, Chang'e, a rare from the Tian faction, we believe, associated with the moon and immortality. So she was, in Chinese mythology, our research, she was the wife of the archer god Hoi, and the mother of the mortal girl Legu. She was given a pill by her husband to grant her immortality, but she accidentally broke the pill in 2 pieces, and it caused her to become trapped in the moon forever, I guess. So this is Chang'e, a new champion that we had never seen before. And then we'll jump. Okay, so now we have Polodnitsa. Polodnitsa is an epic from the Virage faction. She's the goddess of the half moon, representing the transition between old and new moons, and she brings forth new life during the spring equinox. So she could definitely be associated with rejuvenation or healing, and she's kind of tied to the cycles of life and death. But a very cool looking thing, cool looking champion. And they also talk about how like they use pieces from other champions, so they don't have to build each champion 100%. They're getting double and triple use out of different assets that they have, and you can't tell because when it's finished, it doesn't look the same. It's just the same base structure that allows them to build quickly and also keep their selves on brand because they're reusing elements. Okay, so this is the next character that we had never seen before that Simon shows, Shangdi. Now, Shangdi is also from the Tian faction. He is associated with the sky, thunder, and agriculture. He is considered the supreme god of ancient Chinese mythology, like the highest god in the pantheon, the creator of the universe. So he is seen as a symbol of power, authority, and morality. So I'm guessing he's going to be a legendary, and we're going to want him because he's probably going to be really incredible. He's like a wise, old kung fu master sort of thing. Really neat weapon here as well, sort of glowing sword. So this is Shangdi. Shangdi. They come kind of quick, so I don't like to jump ahead and cut off too much, but we'll watch as he points out a few different pieces to it. And then we'll get to our next one. So here we have Svarog. I'm not sure exactly how to say that. I'm terrible with the names. Definitely not my strength. But he is a legendary from the Virage faction, it would seem. But we've also seen the naming this name, Svarog, as part of one of the dungeons, maybe a gear dungeon where you can go to farm gear. He is a weaponsmith. So we're not sure if he's going to be a gear dungeon boss as well as a character in the Virage faction, or he is associated with Slavic mythology. But he's associated with fire, blacksmithing, and the cycles of life and death, and meteorology, and using metals. He's depicted as a powerful blacksmith with superhuman strength and endurance, and it is believed that he forged the weapons for the gods. Said to have also created the first humans from clay and gave them the gift of immortality. So Not exactly sure how we're going to see Svarg just yet, but he looks awesome, whether he's a boss we beat or a boss we beat and then a character we get and can use. Not exactly sure, but we're getting to see him for the very first time as well. And then we get to see, I'm going to call him Zippy Totek because I can't say this name properly, but Zippy Totek is an epic from Omayakin. He mentions he's kind of like a cannibal. He's like part human, part animal, but he's got flayed skin. Like I don't know, something in his mythology, they flayed him or something, which is awful. That's like the worst, most painful thing ever because you can feel everything. So apparently he's from Aztec mythology. All you got to do to beat him is you just kind of blow some wind over his flayed skin and he'll be in so much pain. But this is a cool looking epic champion. We had never seen him before. Zippy Totek. Probably saying that wrong. Cool weapon too. Really neat stone weapon with all of them have sort of a bat-like figure to them. But he talks about, them being flayed, what his skin looks like if it wasn't covered with, or what his exterior would look like if it wasn't covered with skin. So they were looking at that. Then he shows us Excalibur. Weapons are going to be extremely important in the game. So he shows us one of the ones that we've obviously expected. You can't really have King Arthur without Excalibur. So look at the level of detail and work that they're doing to create life in this very simple 2D, sword. Really cool to see here. So that is King Arthur's Excalibur. And then another leak, we see Himiko. This is a character we are assuming would be from the Izumu faction. She's the daughter of the Emperor Sunan. He gave her custody of the sacred mirror, and she's like the symbol of the sun goddess. So she's called like the sun daughter. She was a ruler and a high priestess. This was sort of a time that shows Japan was cool with women being leaders. So I think it's a great champion to have in the game. So we're getting to see her for the very first time ever. So that's Himiko. And then after Himiko, we have Montezuma. We knew Montezuma was in the game, but here you can see as he's going from 2D, and then he'll be getting 3D, and he'll be getting cleaned up. I really like his asymmetrical cape here. I like how it's an asymmetrical style. It's a different, you don't see it all the time, but really makes him look different, stand out from just having a regular cape. So something simple like that makes him look different. That is Montezuma. And then the next one we get to see is really cool, Tialong. So Tialong from the Tian or Jade Empire, used to be called Jade, Tian faction. He is a celestial dragon representing power, protection, and good fortune. He also has some potential elemental control with rain and storms. He's associated with the Emperor and with heaven, sort of connecting the two. Looks incredible, the work they're doing right now on Tialong. This is also a new character. One of the dragons we'll be seeing coming into the game. Really cool to see that. Then, where was it? Did we miss it? So we have Tialong, and then, oh yes, it was after. Okay, so then we see Tengu. Oh, this right here. So it looks like Tengu. At first I thought it was Tengu, but I don't think it is. The nose is short. It's got the horns. He's blue. So doing a little research, it seemed like this would be Oni. Oni, the character we know. They're sort of like trolls. They have blue skin, horns. So this looks to be maybe Oni. What do you think? Who do you think it is? And then after this one, he's going to flash a picture of Amaterasu, also from the Izumu faction as well, but just a quick flash. Then he talks here about the workshop for Fatar, which is one of the possible gear dungeons we've thought existed. This is just the 2D sketch, but he talks about how they're building out some of the environments, and this is layouts for environments, so we're switching now from champions, although we'll still talk about a few champions, to some of the layouts that we'll be looking at. He'll then show us a wave in the Asgard sort of progression. That'll be our next one here that we'll look at right here. So this is the Asgard, so there'll be a wave of enemies will be, and will move on through this portion. This is what the 2D rendering will look like. It will then be brought into 3D and, of course, refined and improved. So that is that. He talks about battle spaces and making sure they have the right amount of space for all the champions to do what they need to do, creating modular dungeons and battle spaces. So having all these pieces kind of all built out so they can very quickly put together a dungeon. And then also adding the depth and the detail of all these little extra things, adding the depth so that it looks really clean and really high level. So he talks about that, and then we get to the wallpapers. So this is, they said they're creating wallpapers. This, of course, Thor. I think that's Broomhild, Oda Nobunaga, Minotaur, and maybe Lady Zoc. So they're just using their champions to kind of show like what Godforge is all about and creating a whole bunch of these different wallpapers. This is just one that he shared, kind of a cool one with Thor and some other characters. So that is the wallpapers. Then he gets on to another champion that we've known, Yan Wang. We'll show you right here. Yan Wang. So we've seen this character before, but he's talking about how they're taking the portraits and making sure that it works across all the areas in the game where their portrait needs to be represented. So even though Tengu has wings, in some of these portraits, they clip off the wings so that it fits and looks better, rather than staying true to that. So they are talking about certain artistic licenses. You can see Anubis up here at level 48. Man, he must be using Anubis pretty well, if this is in any way accurate. One thing to note about this, Yan Wang is a legendary from Tian. We knew about him, but we don't know much about him. In his lore, he's the ruler of hell, or the underworld Daiyu in Chinese mythology, and he oversees the 10 kings of hell and is the judge of the dead. So that's a little bit about who we think Yan Wang is. Then, yeah, he talks about Tengu here and taking out his wings so that it works. We mentioned that. And then he talks about Quick Q here doing the ultimate animation. Really cool. So Quick Q is an invoker, he says. We knew this. So invokers do healing and buffing their own team. So I think this ultimate would most likely be putting some sort of continuous heals or buffs on AoE style on the whole team. We will link our video. I just put out a video this past weekend showing you all 5 of the classes in Godforge: Invoker, Defender, Slayer, Brawler, and Disruptor. So you're going to want to check that video out. We'll pin it below. It shows you all 5 of the classes and then how you'd want to speed tune each of the classes. So here, we're going to pull it back real quick. We see Mordred's skills. Okay, so Mordred is a disruptor, so he's a debuffer and disabler. Okay, and we're going to see his 3 skills. We're going to see his basic right here. Very good fencing form there. I like how the step in, step back looks very natural. He has a little dip as he steps in and steps back. I think that's extremely natural. Very nice. Yeah, very, very nice there. Looks very natural. So this is his core ability. He's gathering up all this force, and then boom, he just flings it. Now, what I want to show you here is look at the detail. How he steps back like this, really, like this is something they added. That makes it look like he really threw something of force, of mass, of like, really makes it look like he threw something, powerful. So it's going to be interesting to see what debuffs or what disables Mordred's kit has, because he's not a damage dealer, even though these look cool and like, bam. It's more about, he's probably going to be more about landing his debuffs and disables, but really neat to see just how, and this is his ultimate. He gathers it up, does like a spin move there, almost like a discus thrower, hits the B button, spins, unleashes his ultimate. And then his return back looks really smooth. His return back looks, I'll show it again here, looks really smooth in how he's coming back to start. So he gains it up, does all this, B button, boom, and then he steps back real smooth. So awesome to see that. He's definitely not a damage dealer, but really cool to see how smooth they've worked out these transitions and these returns to start pose. Last but not least, what you guys are waiting for, he's going to show Heimdall's ultimate here. So obviously looks to put up a massive AoE shield for the team. It's called Stay Frosty. Boom. So now it looks like his ultimate, Heimdall's ultimate, probably just puts up a massive shield. Maybe you don't take any damage through this shield. Of course, we know he's tied for the highest defense and has the highest resistance in the game. This would allow Pandora to continue to run and Odin to continue to put debuffs on the team and to cause damage. So really cool to see Heimdall's ultimate. All right, guys. Well, that is going to wrap it up for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed seeing all these new champions coming into the game and watching as the game gets closer to being ready for that alpha testing phase in July. Hit the like and subscribe if you feel that's right for you. Take care of yourself, and remember, play smarter.